All right. Videos
Hello.
on, videos on. Hey, welcome everybody. It's exciting. We have so many calls and excitement. I mean, just it's everywhere right now. And I love the fact that we can jump on here tonight and, hear from a really good friend of mine, somebody that I'm excited for every one of you to hear her story. We are recording this like we do a lot of our events, and guests that listen to it, tonight or tomorrow or next week or next month, next year, the results are the same. It's funny when I look back, we always record these amazing conversations, and then several months later, I'll have somebody say, "Man, I just watched that interview," or that person sharing that story, and it's powerful when you think about what we do. So, one of the foundations for It Works Global, it's really the core values that Mark and Cindy have put into this company. And I want to start tonight and talk a little bit about that because I've been in the industry now going on 24 and a half years. And I love this industry. My family's been in it for generations. And every company that I've ever witnessed or I've ever, researched, let's say, there's a lot of companies that are even way older than me. And when you look at legacy companies, these are companies that follow a set of core values. And the reason that's so important is because as a company grows and the customers grow and the business grows, the reason all of us are on this call, the reason a guest is looking at this opportunity is for time and financial freedom. And to get that long term for your family, you've got to be in the right vehicle. So I want you to let that sink in here tonight because you have with It Works Global. First of all, you've got a 20-year-old debt-free billion-dollar company. Mark and Cindy Pentecost, you don't need to worry about their history or their tapes or their drama because they don't have any. They've been average Americans their entire life. School teacher, he was a basketball coach. They were doing their best to live the American dream and decided 20 years ago to start It Works Global. And today, when you look at it today, you go, wow, this is a big company. Look at these big buildings and, they have a jet and millions of customers have come through to buy products here. But you also have to remember when this company began 20 years ago, there was a set of core values that the company and the family kept intact all of these years. And when you become God-fearing, and when you become a good caretaker of the money, when you pay off the debts, when you do the right things, doesn't mean you're perfect. And by the way, that's one thing I do appreciate about this company and Mark and Cindy Pentecost, because they're not just great people, but when they do make mistakes, when the company makes mistakes, they actually own up to it and they fix things and they communicate. And there's so many companies out there today that just don't do that. Again, it's core values. So I know a lot of us, we like to do something so we can have more time and financial freedom. We want to pay off our debts. We want to fire our boss. We want to be able to wake up when we're done sleeping. I could give you a million reasons here tonight why we all do what we do, but it's not just something we're going to go do like a one-hit wonder. Let's go make some money and then it fizzles out and you're like, oh my gosh, you got to do this again. So when you have those core values with a company like this, and then you have to look at the timing and the positioning, and you add those together, and that's where you're going to see major change in your life over, for some, 3 to 5 years, for some, 3 to 5 months, for some, as you meet people in this company, have been here 10, 15, up to 20 years. So I love to share that. I don't always share that, but I've had some great conversations lately because what 2020 has delivered in the network marketing direct sales industry is a lot of great companies out there are doing better. And there's some small, even startup companies that are trying to, come out in 2020. But, history never lies. And so when you look at all the companies that have become legacy companies, which this will mean for Marwa or Nia or, Sophie on the call here tonight, as you build your business, the generational income is going to build, but it's also going to be there. And it's something that your kids' kids can appreciate. They can also utilize, right? It's like building your legacy for your family. So that's what's always motivated me. And I wanted to start off that way because, and it was inspired by Nia, okay, in the Philippines. And the reason why is when I first met Nia, she is a mother of 6. She's a single mom, by the way. And when I first met her, she was probably one of the most tenacious women I had ever met in my life. just from all that she has accomplished as a human being living in the Philippines. And I've traveled the Philippines, probably a dozen times. I've spent a lot of time in Manila, Cebu, down in Davao. I mean, all the beautiful part. I mean, first of all, if you've never been to the Philippines, put it on your bucket list and you got to go. It's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Hundreds of islands. I mean, islands everywhere. It's almost like there's not one solid piece of land. And that's actually, for some in business, what makes it difficult. So Nia has been an entrepreneur most of her life. She's a mother of 6. And most importantly, when I met her, she had some common denominators. She's very much into personal growth. She's got some fitness certifications in her own right. But when I say tenacious, I'm very proud to call her a good friend. And I've watched her grow. I've watched her, start in the Philippines before we even had products there. We had no products there. And this young lady was out there hustling, telling people what was coming. I couldn't keep up with her for a while. And then I had to stop her from signing people up in the Philippines when we didn't even have the ability to sign people up. But she didn't care. And part of that is because she's a tenacious woman. She's a boss lady from the Philippines. So Nia, welcome to the call. Wanted to give you the proper introduction. But the reason I opened our call here tonight for everybody, I think it's so important to understand the heart, and what the foundation is in this company, because you've been in the industry before. And I know that was really important to you. You can go anywhere and make money, but you made a decision to come here. And partly the same reason I made a decision to come here, because you can keep it. It's something you can build and you can keep, for your children. So welcome to the call, Nia. If you want to share with everybody just a quick hello, a little bit about yourself. And we've only got about 30 questions for you tonight. It won't be too bad. No, I'm kidding. This is going to be short and sweet. We want everybody on here to really hear your story, what your passions are, and what you're doing to build your business. And by the way, everybody, Nia achieved the rank of double diamond. And that's a heck of an accomplishment in the Philippines, where the average income is $300 a month. Let that sink in. That is the average income. Okay. So when you look at the average income of Americans, I don't even know what it is, probably 50 grand. It's in that range a year. So when you look at that, put it in perspective, to become a double diamond, in the Philippines is tough. I mean, but she's a tenacious woman. So welcome to the call, Nia. I'm going to finally let you speak.
Thank you, Mike. I think you held me there for so long. I'm just joking.
The build up.
That I will be willing to answer 60 questions. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Nia, and yes, I'm a single mom of 6 kids, and 3 of them have already grown up, so only 3 are with me right now. And when I met this before I met this company, I was seriously bedridden, and I had a broken shoulder bone. And nobody in the company knew, even our vice president, who I met at that time, Ronald Wade, that I was suffering from that. I did not have to make it obvious, because I really want to be able to look at the opportunity seriously, because I was also financially broke. And the time that this was introduced to me, I had nothing in my bank account. I said nothing. And because I was having no income because of my injury. And so I did everything and prayed, of course, to be able to just meet Ronald Wade. And from there, I've already seen how big it will be for all Filipinos. And as Mike said, the average income here is so low. Maybe it's just your hourly in a day's time, right? And yes, it's very, very, the way that I look at it is, actually, I overlooked the fact that the company has no products here. But it's like I really looked at what is beyond. I'm one person who doesn't look at now in terms of challenges, because the challenges will come to pass for sure. And what I'm looking at is how huge this business will be for most Filipinos, as long as they also take it seriously like I do. And as the market is very hard here to really to close people, and just even for them to look at it, because the mindset of a lot of Filipinos is such that they are limited, because we've been used to really low income. So when they see at the price of the products, they would be somewhat intimidated. But it's just a matter of educating them, giving them, showing them the value that they will have, not only physically, but also, I mean, it has tremendous impact. I mean, the product's results have tremendous impact on how they will actually live their lives. This is for a long term. This is not just for, like me. Yes, I do look younger now than when Mike saw me before. Come on, please agree, Mike.
I agree. Listen, did you want me to like introduce you again? Did you hear the first one? I got a better one for you. No, actually, I do want to jump in there, Nia, because that's and by the way, for those of you jumping on the call here, and you may have reached out to people in the Philippines, and, just know as a company, we're open in Korea, Japan, and the Philippines, and that's it. That's the very tip of the Asia Pacific iceberg. Okay. There's a lot of business in the Philippines, and we were going to launch keto tea and keto coffee actually, and I was coming back in March, right? And of course, some things slowed that down, and like most companies, they'll get the other new products back in. But we opened up in your country with the wraps, facials, and defining gels. So what was your favorite product, and what really wowed you with the product so far when we launched?
Okay, I'm really torn here, Mike. I'm really torn here because it's like the
And
very
I'm not
first
talking
time.
about not the products that you're smuggling in through Australia with Steven, because those are a
Oh,
different
yeah.
product line.
Yes, I'm
Anyway,
a legal smuggler. But
it's what we
yeah,
do. We
it's been
change
doing
lives,
good.
smuggling great products. Anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead.
so not counting our keto coffee, because that is a no-brainer, you know. But my gosh, I'm torn really. Uh, af- After I've tried the keto coffee, because it was actually the keto coffee that I first tried, not the wrap, not the facial, not the defining gel. But okay, discounting the keto coffee's good results on me, um, I really got amazed by the wrap, especially when I used it consistently, because before, because I had no steady products here on stock, it was like very inconsistent for me. I mean, in terms of usage. But even so, the very first time that I used the wrap, I lost already 2.75 inches on my middle, just
I
on my
remember that.
middle. Not, I mean, I can't remember the upper and the lower part, but the middle is 2.75 inches. And then, so when I used that product consistently, remember, I was bedridden the year before. I mean, the
Yes.
year that I signed up,
Yeah.
before I met the company. I was almost on my size 10. Okay. And then, when I tried the keto coffee, I got to size maybe 7 or 8. I am not sure, but then easily I can tell because of the way that I would fit into my clothes. But and then the wrap. So when I used it consistently, and that was November last year. I signed up December 2018, but then the consistency happened in November, because I was really getting bothered already by the quote unquote fats that are accumulating. So from size 8, because I became size 8 again, size 8, I became size 4 in
Wow.
12 days with only 4 or 5 wraps. Okay, and actually, I haven't had my pictures approved yet by the company. I will do that. And then,
You had such a profound testimonial that the company reached out to you, remember? When you went live a
oh
couple
yeah,
times, and
it
then
was.
Nia, you shared your photos, and I remember the company was like, "Hey, we got to get those approved," because they were good. They were awesome results.
Yeah, yeah. They had to call my attention because it was so good that it has to be legitimate.
Yep.
It has to be legitimately approved. Anyway, so and then the facial is also one of my favorites, because if you would look at my pictures in December 2018 before I used the product, I had droopy eyelids, okay, like that. Then I have, well, don't mind the eye bag because it's always there. It has always been there. Then here I am like the sister of a bulldog.
And
You
Nia,
know?
just for our listeners and the people that will be watching the recording, when she says "I," she's saying "eye bugs." And in the Philippines, actually, that's what they will talk about, their eye bugs when your eyes are puffy. So if you ever hear eye bugs, that's what we're talking about in the Philippines.
Yeah, eye
And it does
bags.
a great job. It does a Yeah, it's like it does a really good job of, helping with that. And actually, why is that so common in the Philippines?
I don't know. Maybe because people, I don't know. I just noticed that most people don't really drink so much water.
Hmm.
And it's also my own experience when I'm dehydrated. The fluid retention here is greater, and you know that I don't sleep much. And actually right now I'm having a very serious migraine, guys. But I wrote on the chat, I'm supposed to be talking with you, right? I mean, be with you, but I was supposed to be saying there I have a very serious migraine going on, but I did not dare to put it on the chat because I don't want to make that as an excuse for me not to show up here right now. And
You're living
so that explains my eye bag today.
you're living up to that reputation of the tenacious lady from Asia. So yes, you are. And I know I've seen you in worse conditions. And this woman was in a hospital one time doing calls. And I remember messaging Steven, who's a diamond out of Australia. He's on here today, and they're really good friends. He travels to the Philippines too. And I'm like, tell this woman to relax for a moment, because you just keep going and going. Let's talk about opportunity, Nia, because you are a hustler. You used to own a restaurant. You've owned businesses in your time, but opportunity is really big for you. And I always tell people
Yeah.
too, it's the excitement factor. Another good thing to understand here tonight. Philippines and the United States, they actually have an amazing relationship. And again, I always tell people, don't ever watch the news. You don't get any real stories anyway, or truth. But when you look at the history of Philippines and America, United States, they have an incredible what we call reciprocation. And what people don't
Yes.
realize is that the Filipinos are one of the largest workforces outside of their own country. Besides,
Right.
when you look at around the world, it's an amazing network. So get excited if you have business to expand in the Philippines. I'm just giving you some education tonight, and realize that the reciprocation goes both ways. But Nia, you were so excited about the opportunity. Tell us your why. What are you building residual income for, and what drives you in the Philippines to be, you are the front runner in the entire country by
Yes.
yourself because of COVID. You were separated from your kids for even months from COVID because you got stuck in Cebu, and
Yep.
they were up in Manila. So that was tough, but you still continued to build and wholesale retail. What drives you? What is your why?
Oops. I lost you there, Mike. Uh-oh.
What drives you? What is your why? Can you hear me now?
Hello? Oops. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Hello, Mike?
Well, we might have some connection issues with Nia. um, we'll give her a minute here. She can probably log back in. I will share a little bit about the opportunity with It Works and global international expansion, because you have COVID right now and a lot of international expansion for any company, by the way. It doesn't matter what company it is. It's a little bit on hold because of travel, shipping, and many other reasons. However, I will tell you that the beginning of Asia Pacific just started a few years ago. Many of you know we opened Mexico. And until the company gets to, they're comfortable traveling and everybody's back to normal, which we don't know when that's going to be, this expansion will continue. I see we Nia, are you back?
Yes, sorry guys. I lost my
It's
connection.
okay. Your energy
Hold
was
on.
your
Okay.
energy was so.
So, oh yeah.
Are you there? Okay. So let me go back to your question.
Yes.
Share with everybody your why, what drives you to do what you're doing.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and just to address the basic thing that you positioned before your question about the relationship of America and the U.S. I mean the Philippines.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be the 51st state of America.
Oh,
We
wow.
were supposed to be back in 1986. But okay, anyway, that's just for trivia. But anyway, so okay, the way that oh, I had several businesses before, and well, I cannot say that they are a total failure. Okay, but I just had to stop some businesses because some unscrupulous people are affecting it, and I don't like that happening. But the way that I look at my decision to do network marketing business, and I have been in the network marketing business since 2009, and this is my second company. The way that I look at any network marketing business is you get to help a lot of people. When you have a traditional business, when you are self-employed, okay, you get to help basically just yourself. Okay, well, I mean, giving salaries to employees is already a given. I mean, it's natural because they're working for you. But then when you join a network marketing business, um, you are able to help these people have unlimited potential of earning incomes that are sometimes really unimaginable, but depends on the effort and the commitment that they pour into the business. Um, and so my real why I joined this, I mean, on a personal level, is because of my children. Because of the fact that I'm a single mom, I cannot rely on anyone really. I mean, I can maybe ask help from time to time from friends, but I'm a very I'm a person with like I have a wrong sense of pride. I don't like asking for help by nature, but then I'm forced to do so. And I'm looking at my fellow single moms, for example, who can be helped by this business, because this business you can operate with just only how much in dollars. Right now it's 39 with the promo codes. Or here in the Philippines, we sign up people with 2,000 pesos. That's about $40. Okay, and they get to start in as little as that with that little amount. But then if they really would take this seriously and be able to see the vision that I've also seen before, they can actually launch their lives into the kind of life that they want to have. And not only that, because in network marketing, that this is the only time, I mean, when I joined the network marketing business, and especially with our company now, I was able to develop myself. I mean, on a personal growth is so much, spiritual growth is so much, that even if, let's say, somebody who joins uh, is not able to make money, um, like for the next, let's say, 3 to 5 months, but then he or she is consistently being with the team, connecting with the team, and just basically maximizing all the trainings. I mean, you cannot pay that kind of development that you'll get here. I mean, to me, I mean, I'm really big on this, as you know, and with financial opportunity, it's already natural when you do the right things, when you become the right person, when you become the leader that you want to have. It's very natural. So we don't even have to really talk about money, if you would ask me, because it's natural when when things are when you do the necessary things for the business.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, you've got such a powerful story, and I want to paint the picture even more clear for the guests that are listening tonight and in the future. When you spend some time in the Philippines and you really look at I believe, Nia, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel there's such an entrepreneurial spirit in the Philippines. Like everybody is, they really just they love, going out and making things happen on a daily basis. I mean, I'd never seen so many children, working with their families because their mission every day is to make sure we have food on the table. We have to have a shelter. We've got to take care of each other. And I'll tell you, some of the children in the Philippines, I remember that one time down in Cebu, the cutest little girl I ever saw in my life gave me these candles. And I didn't know what money to give her. And I gave her a $20 bill. And she got so excited. And she literally ran to her mom. She was freaking out. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? And I still have the candles. I mean, I gave him the brandy. It was like a gift. And the gentleman I was with, he says, man, she probably has taken the whole week off. I mean, literally, like you made her month, giving her $20 when she only needed like $1. That's what I think they were selling it for. But it was just that pure energy and that entrepreneurial spirit. And, so I do love that about your culture, and I love the pride. And that's why I encourage people, if they ever get a chance to go over there. Plus, they can hang out with you in Manila.
Yeah, I will
That
tour
would
you
be fun.
around for sure.
So Nia, let's talk a little bit about. I do want to go, to the category, the topic. One of my favorite, personal growth. So what has been, because I know you're a very spiritual woman. You have amazing faith, but you're also all about personal growth. So share with us how personal development and your faith have been so important to you. Yes, does it apply to your business here at It Works? Yes, but you've also, you have a lot of life that you've lived, and you've done some amazing things. So how are those two things, as we wrap up, how are those two things key for you and your success?
Yeah. So as you know, Mike, we have been into so much challenges here as a team, right? I mean, the attrition rate is so high because not all people can really catch the vision, okay, easily. And financially, most people are not ready to sign up, but they want to do the business, okay? And so it's like there's a long waiting time for us to really build a good solid team. And uh, and I myself encountered personal challenges with regards to the business. And if I'm one person who doesn't have faith, commitment to the business, and if I was not exposed to encouragement with regards to, yeah, having myself exposed to the right kinds of people, reading all those positive thinking books, and not only positive thinking books, but I would actually expose myself also to lots of other means. And the faith has grown tremendously, especially when I got locked down in Cebu for 5 long months by myself inside the room. That's when I really was able to immerse myself into the trainings that we've got from the corporate, from the team. And that's when also my faith grew so much that, God, it's like I heard from God, don't ever give up what I have started with you. Don't ever give up on something that I have given to you. So no matter what difficulties you encounter, no matter what kinds of people are put in front of you, just be resolute. Just be resolute on what I have started in you. And I take it to me, this is our business. This is our business. I mean, we have a gift, we have a blessing that we have to share. We cannot just keep it to ourselves. And, you know, sharing the blessings is what God wants. Okay? We don't have to be selfish because selfishness leads to destruction. Okay? So faith and personal development really goes together, always. You cannot separate the two, as I believe so. And that is actually bringing me, and along with my team, my key leaders, also to really envisioning ourselves to be experiencing also the same things that you in especially in the US, the distributors in the US, the top earners, um, we will also experience that. And it's just a matter of time, and we just have to keep ourselves on track.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. A lot of the events that we had there together, and just the hunger for personal growth. You know, people are so eager to learn, and they're eager to, become more and become a better person, and work on their goals. And I remember doing we did some amazing goal setting workshops, and it's refreshing when people, they're so dialed into the message, because they don't, some people, they've just never experienced personal growth before. They have it inside them, they just haven't had the right mentor or situation or company, right, or group of people. So you've done a great job leading that charge, Nia. It's not easy doing this in any market around the world. If it were easy, everyone would do it, right? But if you look at the history of all the big companies, and for those of you that are still on the call here, and for those of you that are joining us at a later date, whenever you think of the big companies like Amway and Herbalife, and they've been around forever, and it's funny when people still make fun of Amway, but they're still doing 10 plus billion a year, in gross sales, and Herbalife almost 5 billion last year. But you know what? There was somebody like Nia in the Philippines 40 years ago. There was somebody like Nia in the Philippines over 45 years ago in some of those situations. And their families today are reaping the benefits from that. And I can tell you, on every corner in every major city, when you drive through the Philippines, and I've driven through most of the major cities there, as you know, Nia, there you'll come around a corner and it's like, boom, there's a big Herbalife building, and then boom, there's a big Amway building. And it's like, wow, how cool is that? Because what I said at the very beginning of this call, when you position yourself with a legacy company that has core values, okay, it's going to maintain. It is think of an aircraft carrier versus a race car, okay? I mean, a race car is designed to look good, smell good. It goes real fast. You see companies like that all the time in the Philippines and the US, right? Oh my gosh, look at how much money they're making in 90 days. And you can't even find some of these people or companies 6 months later, right? It's like the one hit wonder. And so that legacy, as we talked about at the very beginning, is the most important part of this conversation, because that's what's going to happen for all of us and people that are involved. To be able to have that generational wealth is not, just having it. It's about keeping it. And the only way you get to keep something, the only way you get to the top, or whatever your goals and dreams are, like what Nia, that tenacity that you have, but it's what you said, it's your faith and your personal growth. And so, any last minute closing comments, Nia, for the group here tonight? Remember, this is recorded, so we're going to be sharing this. We're going to make you famous. People are going to be looking for Nia in the Philippines. Where is that boss lady? I'm just complimenting you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
I think my connection is messing up. Hello, Mike. Can you hear me?
A little bit. You're good, though. Maybe just log back in. Yeah. She'll be back on in just a moment. But no, this was awesome, guys. I love sharing success stories. I don't really care what city or country they come from. But Nia is a very, very special person. She's got a great story. And hopefully she'll come back on here so she can share her last minute comments. But honestly, for all of you, if you have any contacts in the Philippines or Mexico, Japan, or Korea, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to make a connection. Everything we do does work 100% online. In fact, in the Philippines, we have an office, a warehouse in Manila, which all of the products are stocked. And most of the local Manila business, when they order, they can get their product in the same day. The local moped carriers is zip around and drop things off. And, if you're down in Cebu or Davao, which is all the way down, we had a couple diamonds that Nia and Steven had developed down in that part of the country, and they stocked a lot of product because it's so far down there. But my point, though, is that it's amazing to see how you can get, a small team building into eventually a large team, just like everywhere else. and you have the infrastructure of the legacy company already in place in the Philippines. If you go to Japan, same thing. Go to Korea, same thing. In fact, the company has an office, a warehouse in Hong Kong, and that's like one of the main central veins that's going to distribute, core products out there. So that's exciting, guys. I mean, that's why I went to the Philippines several times on, I look at Brandy and I, it's, tough with the family of seven, to invest that kind of money on the IFCOM, and we did that through Mexico and the Philippines, and I'd do it in 10 more countries. You know why? Because you never really get that opportunity again in your life, and you get excited to do stuff like that. But, it's all about promise of the future. So you can rely on the company in the international space because they do it right. They may not be the fastest, but they do it right. And that's so important, guys. I've worked in international for so long, and it's tough. It's a tough world out there. And a lot of companies, most companies, I'm talking 9 out of 10 in the network marketing space, they sound really good when they say we're in all these countries, but when you look underneath the hood, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of detail, a lot of moving parts and logistics that cost money. Give you an example, when you open in Korea, most companies go what they call they call it NFR. They can ship products in below the radar, right? But you can only do that so long in some countries. We don't do that. NFR is a shortcut. It's the cheap way out, and it can get you in big trouble. What It Works will do is they will actually set up infrastructure as the company's growing and building out. So again, not as fast as some companies that look good and smell good, but we do it right. So I was impressed with that with the company, all the important stuff, making sure the products can ship on time, making sure that they get paid. In most of Asia Pacific right now, we do not charge for the e-suite fees. It doesn't make sense. And auto ship's not popular in countries like the Philippines. So they buy products individually or they buy them in bundles. So, but it does work, and it works extremely well. So it looks like Nia got so excited, guys. She probably broke the cable network in Manila because she's like that. But I appreciate everybody jumping on tonight. I hope you enjoyed a good experience from the Philippines with Nia. Just a very special, amazing, amazing boss lady. I always call her, out of the Philippines, double diamond, and just has a heart of gold. And you'll always see her on trainings. You'll always see her on events because she believes in the power of personal growth and has very strong faith. So from the international front, any of you that are building internationally, if you ever need help, okay, let me know. You can reach out to me. That's my favorite part of business is international. So if I can ever help you in some of these new markets that we're in, let us know. I'll get the recording out to everybody. And for the guests that are tuning in here tonight, just realize this 20-year-old debt-free billion-dollar company, It Works Global, just started international expansion a few years ago. This year it's a little bit slowed down, but just paused, just a quick pause. It'll be back on track at some point in 2021, early, hopefully. But we're excited because we're at the very beginning of their long-term international expansion. So thank you guys for joining us tonight, and look forward to our next call.
Thank you.